as Spain produced the player who could dominate football after Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. Lamine Yamal has torn through Portugal, Belgium and France to become this World Cup's biggest threat, and the story behind how he got here is unlike anything the sport has seen. Just days after celebrating his 19th birthday on a training pitch in Dallas, Texas, the young winger stands preparing for the single most consequential match in modern Spanish history. He wears the number 19 shirt, a numeric coincidence that now mirrors his age, but his presence on this stage is no accident. For 2 decades, global football revolved around the dueling legacies of Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo. As the teams prepare to emerge from the tunnel for the final, the sport faces an unresolved vacuum at its very peak. Spain's possession-heavy history has evolved, moving away from the endless passing cycles of the past to embrace a direct, devastating style of play. At the absolute center of this tactical transformation is a teenager who has forced elite defenders into reactive, desperate errors throughout the knockout rounds. The ultimate trophy remains one match away, yet the question hovering over the stadium is already larger than the scoreline. Has Spain built the system and the player to define the next era of football? Spain's campaign in North America began on June the 21st, 2026 at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. In a 4-0 opening victory over Saudi Arabia, Lamine Yamal scored, establishing his role as a direct goal scorer rather than a simple touchline playmaker. As the tournament progressed into the elimination rounds, his influence expanded. On July 6th, Spain faced Portugal in the round of 16. Yamal's constant lateral movement dragged the Portuguese defensive lines out of position, paving the way for a late 1-0 victory. By July 10th, in a quarter-final match against Belgium at SoFi Stadium, the pressure mounted. With the score tied late in the second half, Yamal drove into the Belgian penalty box, forcing a defensive error that led to the late-winning goal of a 2-1 win. 4 days later, in the semi-final against France, he took centre stage again, cutting inside from the flank to draw the defenders' attention, opening the path for Spain to earn the penalty that broke the deadlock in a dominant 2-0 win. With each knockout round, the perception of the young forward shifted. He was no longer a promising prospect or a developmental project. He had become Spain's primary offensive catalyst. To understand how a teenager could shoulder this immense pressure on the global stage, we must look at the specific, decades-long training system that engineered his rise. Cruyff's vision took physical form at LA Masia, Barcelona's youth academy. Here, trainers turned raw technical skill into a repeatable, structured development model. The system focused on spatial awareness, rapid decision-making, and constant ball possession. By the late 2000s, this training ground produced Pep Guardiola's historic Barcelona teams alongside Xavi and Andrés Iniesta. These players became the core of the Spanish national team that won consecutive European Championships and the 2010 World Cup. This golden era from 2008 to 2012 proved that physical stature mattered far less than technical intelligence on the pitch. When Lamine Yamal arrived from this same academy, he inherited a football identity with decades of muscle memory. Yet possessing a perfect blueprint did not guarantee permanent success. The system that conquered the world soon faced a period of sudden, devastating tactical stagnation, leaving the national team struggling to adapt to a faster, more direct era of global football. Yamal entered La Masia at 7 years old, moving rapidly through every youth tier as trainers watched a low centre of gravity and rare ball control bypass players years older. Instead of a patient integration, his development was deliberately accelerated. At 15 years and 290 days, he became the youngest player to debut for Barcelona's first team. His head coach, Xavi Hernandez, noted that Yamal trained with a professionalism beyond his years, showcasing a selfless and mature attitude on the pitch. By September 2023, at just 16, he earned his first senior cap for Spain. This was not a standard academy graduation. It was a systematic fast-tracking designed to test his limits before he ever stepped onto a World Cup pitch. This intense preparation created a player ready for the immediate pressure of the international stage. The blueprint existed, but Spain's execution had stalled. Following a group stage exit at the 2014 World Cup, the national team fell into a decade of rigid, possession-heavy stagnation. Passing cycles grew endless and ineffective. To break this cycle, the Spanish Federation appointed Luis de la Fuente, charging him with preserving the team's traditional control while introducing immediate, direct verticality. Under his direction, Spain reorganized. The standard 4-3-3 structure now shifts dynamically into a fluid 3-4-3 during possession, moving Yamal from a static touchline winger into an inverted wide forward who drifts inside to link play. In this system, Yamal does not carry the burden alone. The central spine of Rodri and Pedri dictates the tempo, while Pau Kubasi and Nico Williams pin defenders back, opening the exact half spaces Yamal needs to attack. Spain did not simply wait for a savior, they rebuilt their entire tactical system to maximize one. This structural correction transformed the national side, presenting opposition defenders with a calculated, unpredictable problem the moment Yamal receives the ball in the final third. Across more than 500 minutes of tournament play, Yamal has operated as an inverted forward, drifting inside to systematically dismantle defensive blocks. He logged 22 successful dribbles, averaging 12 take-ons per 90 minutes, matching a World Cup record set by JJ Okocha in 1998. His defensive contributions are equally disruptive. He won 38 duels, forced 8 fouls, and recorded 11 defensive actions alongside 23 recoveries. This physical work rate combines with a low center of gravity and sudden bursts reaching 28 kilometers per hour. Defenders are forced into reactive, costly adjustments to counter his step-over feints and tight-space decisions, allowing him to create 6 clear-cut chances. This constant manipulation of space has propelled Spain to the final. The upcoming match against Argentina places him directly beside Lionel Messi in the global imagination, transforming tactical proof into a historic transition. The impending showdown against Argentina in the final brings an inevitable comparison to Lionel Messi. While Messi built a legacy on deep central creation and late-career spatial mastery, Yamal represents a different physical reality, using high-volume dribbling on the flank to unbalance structured defenses before drifting inward. The final in Miami does not validate his talent, that is already established, but it accelerates his trajectory. A strong performance positions him at the center of the Golden Ball and Ballon d'Or conversations, awards historically defined by World Cup moments. Beyond individual trophies, his success is reshaping how elite clubs scout young talent, normalizing the teenage starter at the highest level of European football. As the teams take the pitch, the lingering question is not just who wins the trophy, but whether the sport's next decade is already adapting to him. We are no longer waiting for the next ERA of football, we are living in it. The game is changing, and a teenager from La Masia is holding the pen. How many trophies will he claim? Join the conversation in the comments.